Hello viewers, this is Anand Killi from Tech My Style. In this video, we will look at how to take advantage of AEM single page application editor capabilities to integrate a React application with AEM. Adobe has already provided a very good demo application named VRetal Journal, which we can base our project and enhance. VRetal Journal combines all the features of the SPA.js SDK that are available today, like AEM driving the structure of the application and ability to add more routes by adding pages, etc. This makes it a little difficult to understand the building blocks of SPA editor, and if we don't understand the building blocks, we can't cater to different needs. In this video, I will take a very small React application and slowly convert it to AEM editable application. You can find all the resources you need to follow along in the video description below. That's it for the boring intro. Now let's start building our first application. I took this free Bootstrap template from Start Bootstrap and converted it into a simple React application. Link to the source code can be found below. All I did with this application is taking different sections of the page like navigation and footer, business overview, and converted into React components. Let's look at the code. So this is a React application. We have navbar, which is the header section. We have the footer. We have the business banner, which is this blue area, and business overview, which is this section, contact us, and then card tile, which is this component, which I duplicated it 3 times. If you look at these components, there's nothing much in it. It just the component definition, and then we are returning a hard-coded HTML markup in the JSX, and then exporting the component. I bound all these components in the app.js, which is the app component, and I put the outer markup here, and then included all the components in the order. And if you look at card tile, we included it 3 times. And index.js, all we're doing is we're taking a root element and then rendering the app component onto it. So the root element is part of the index.html, which is this one. All it had is div id root. Let's try to build this application and see quickly. Let's do an npm install. The npm install is done. Now let's use npm start to start the application. It's loading. Let's close this tab. Keep this one. So this is our React app, the same HTML broken down and combined as a React application here. If we look at the page source, all we have in the body section is div id root, and everything else is rendered by React. We will now start integrating this application with AEM and eventually convert a portion of the page editable. From here on, we will follow the instructions in this Word document. What we're trying to do here first is trying to integrate it with Webpack so that the application can be built and move to AEM. First, we need to be able to open the React application in AEM before we can do anything. Let's start by installing Webpack. Webpack is installed. We need to create a config file called webpack.config.js. It should be under our project root. Paste the following configuration. We also need to create another file called .babelrc, again under our project root. and paste this configuration. We need to add a script called develop, which will trigger the webpack with the development mode under our package.json. We have our scripts here. Let's add develop. We also need to add a couple of dependencies to our dev dependencies, which is the Babel preset React and Babel loader. That's it. Now we can do an npm install. So this will install the newly added dev dependencies under our node modules. Once this step is done, we can do the npm run develop, which will trigger the build script. Okay, now our webpack build is successful. A new folder called dist is created, and if we look at, there is a file called app.js, which is our entire React application built into a single file. If we quickly look at the webpack configuration, all we are mentioning here is that src is our starting folder from where the entire application code exists. A final outcome should be app.js and should be under a folder called dist. And we are letting our know what are our preprocessor for JS and CSS. It's a pretty simple configuration. Now that our entire application is bundled into a single file, if we move this along with the index.html containing a div with the id root, our application should render anywhere fine. Let's try it out. So from the workspace, I'm picking the build file app.js and placing it in my Apache server's doc root, which in my case is cache. Let's also get the index.html and few other files. The one file which we need is actually index.html. Copying the manifest and favicon are optional. Now we need to make few edits to the index.html to link it with the app.js. So let's open. So we need to load the app.js scripts at the end of the body. Also, the location of the manifest file and favicon are directly under the root, so let's make that edit. Save this file. So let's try to open this file in Chrome. Well, actually, let's open it with Apache. So you can see our entire application is rendered fine. So let's view the page source. So the source contains just the div with id root. This ensures that the build is fine, and now we are ready to integrate it with AEM and open the React application in AEM to proceed with other steps. Let's create an AEM archetype project so that we can onboard the React application. I'm using the maven command line to create the project. You can use Eclipse for that as well. So copy this command. Let's go to the terminal, switch to my workspace folder, and create it. So let's pick the group ID as per your project need. only these two information you need to enter. I think rest of the info it's taking automatically. Just press enter. Okay, so the project is ready. So let's go into the project and fire the build. I'm running my AEM on 6402 port, so I'm passing the port. Now the build is completed. Let's verify if everything works fine. So React demo is our application. Let's open the English page. So the page opens fine. Let's look at CRXDE. So this is our application. So it looks good. Now let's move the React application into AEM as a client library. To do that, Adobe has provided a node module called AEM Client Lib Generator, which makes our life very easier. But before doing that, let's copy the React application into our AEM project so that we can eventually make this as a Maven submodule. So move to the workspace folder. So copy the React app. Go to the AEM archetype project and paste it. It's copied. Now we can go back and get rid of this application. Let's go back to the Word document. So we are ready to install the AEM Client Lib Generator as a dev dependency. So go back to the terminal, switch to the newly created project space. Let's install the dependency. You can also get rid of the application from here and add the AEM archetype project to the workspace. The client lib is installed. Now we need to create a config called clientlibconfig.js under the React app. And paste this configuration. Now we also need to append the client lib script to our build script, which is under the package.json develop, like here. It's already pasted. Save this file, and now we can run npm run develop from the React app. It built the application again, but this time it should have moved the build files as a client lib into the AEM client lib directory. So if you expand UI apps, src main gcr root react demo client libs, we should see this new folder client lib react demo, where under the js the app.js is configured, copied, and if you look at the js.txt, it's been linked. Now that the client lib is ready, all we need is a page component in AEM to load the client lib and see the React application working in AEM. To do that, we are not creating the page component and template from scratch. Instead, we are grabbing the page component from the Adobe provided example. To do that, let's go to the UI apps folder of the Adobe provided example, expand JCR root, VRTL journal, React components page. This is the component we are looking at. Copy this one, head over to our UI apps, source main content JCR root, React demo, component structure. There's already a page. Let's create a new folder called React and paste the component here. We need to make few edits which are described here. Starting with the body.html, we need to change the ID from page to root. This is what our React application is using. Go to the custom footer libs and change the categories to the name that we have provided, which is client lib React demo. Do the same thing in custom header libs. We also need to update the meta property value to hard coded one. So let's get rid of this and copy the value from here and paste it in the content. Save this. Let's also update the content.xml. We don't need the super type to be VRTL page. It can be the out of box v2 page, which is this one. Let's change that. We're done. If you want, you can change the title and description, but this is optional. Now we can build this application to move this page component along with the client libs we got from the previous step to AEM. To do that, it's good enough if we build the UI apps. So let's navigate to UI apps and run the maven clean install command here. Okay, this is done. Now, as we don't have a template, we cannot create a page from site admin console. Instead, let's take the page that's provided by default, which is the EN page under React demo, and change the resource type to point to the newly created page component. So our page component resource type is this one. Go to CRXDE, to content, React demo, EN, JCR content, and change the resource type to this. Save this. Now go back to site admin and edit the EN page now. There we go. Now we have the React application finally working fine in AEM. If we get rid of the editor.html and probably add WCM mode disabled and look at the page source, we see the divide root here, and we have the React demo JS pointed here and CSS pointed here and a meta property value here. All looks good. Now let's make the React application a submodule of our AEM archetype project so that we don't have to build the React application first, then come back and build the AEM application. When we trigger the AEM application build, it automatically builds React application. Let's see how to do that. Close this and this. Go back to the Word document, navigate to this section and follow the instructions from here. So in the pop.xml of the parent file, we need to add this line to make React app a submodule. collapse UI apps, pom.xml. We have the modules listed here. Make this a first module. Save this. Add this plugin under the plugins management section. Plugin management, plugins, we can add it anywhere. Save this file. Also, we need to add a pom.xml under React app folder and paste this content. Expand React app, create a file pom.xml and paste. So what we are really doing here is creating a profile called build dev, so that in future if you want to create an environment specific build or create a production type build, you can add more profiles here. We are doing the maven execute plugin to run the npm run develop command as part of the build. That's pretty much what we're doing here. Now with this step the integration is ready. Now let's make a small edit so that when we do the final build we know that everything is working fine. Let's pick one of this component, navbar, yeah, let's make it here. Just save this. Now step back and execute the maven clean install, but just add build dev and run this. Now this should run the React application build first, copy the client libraries to UI apps, then find the UI apps package, and then eventually install everything into AEM. Okay. The build is success. Now let's go to AEM and probably clear the cache and refresh the page. Taking a minute. Okay, now if you see the recently made change in the React app actually made it all the way to AEM. Now at this point the whole integration is done. Now nothing is editable yet. Now this is where we can start installing the AEM JS SDK and make a portion of the page editable and see the real single page application editor in action. To install the AEM JS SDK, we need to install the following node modules and its peer dependencies. So go to the terminal and go to the React app folder. Make sure you do this under the React app, which is under the AEM application if you have the other application still undeleted. Okay, all the dependencies are installed. Now we need to open the business overview component and import map to. By the way, this is the component we are trying to make editable. Add the config. And change the export statement to export with map to. That's it. Now, wherever we are including this business overview component, we need to add the CQ path property. That way AEM knows when the edits are made where to commit the text to. We can pick a component from anywhere. So in our example, we are picking a text component which is coming by default. Actually, we can just copy this property, go to app.js, and wherever we have the business overview, let's add the property there. Okay, that's right. Now let's open the index.js and integrate with the model manager. So upon the DOM content loaded, we are initializing the model manager and then we are rendering after that. To not call render directly, let's make a change this way so that we can choose when to render the application. Now the changes are done. Let's rebuild the application. Actually, let's go back and then run the maven clean install here. Let's add this line here. Rebuild the application. Okay, if you see now, we made business overview component as an editable and we defined it as a type text. Exactly, if we go to the business overview, in the map to we are saying this is of a type text. So AEM is automatically identifying the dialog box rendering that is required for the component and it is doing the decoration markup around it. If we click, we'll see the standard text component edit dialog, and this content is exactly getting pulled from the CQ path we passed here. Let's quickly go to CRXD and check that location. Paste the path here. So this is the text we are seeing here. Now if we make an edit here, just add a few Y's here just to test. Click OK. Nothing is changing here because we are actually editing the text that is being pointed, but we are not reading the text and printing it here. But if we go here and maybe refresh the text, we see our updated content is here. Now next step we need to do here is actually read the text. To do that, go to the business overview component and replace the text that is being returned by the component with this one. So we will replace everything from the return, just return this. So what we're doing here is reading the text from the props. AEM automatically injects the text in the props when an edit is being made. However, on our initial page load, the props passing needs to be taken care of from our side. To do that, we'll make few changes in the app component. We add this property onto the component in app.js along with the CQ path. So this way, for the initial load, we are reading it from the model store and getting the value and reading the text and passing it as a text property, which will in turn be read by here and then show it on the component. Save this, rebuild the application. Okay. If we see here, now on the initial page load, it's reading the text that is on the location which we are pointing to the CQ path, and then it is pasting here. Now if we edit this, and then now let's get rid of the extra Y's we added just to see, hit OK, it is reflecting immediately. Same, we can do some in place edits. It reflects immediately. That's it for the video, guys. Hope you have learned a thing or two from this video. Please do hit the like button if you like what you see, and please do share with your friends who are in AEM and React so that they could get benefited. Also, if you have any questions or if you need any additional clarification, please comment on the YouTube video, or if you find any issues with the code, please do open an issue on the GitHub. That's all. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.